What is up, guys? PieMuffin here, and we are back with another Tales-related video. So, Tales of Festival 2023 is a little over a month away now. It is the end of April, and the beginning of June is when Tales of Festival 2023 will officially begin. If you don't know what Tales of Festival is, I guess I'll explain it really quick. It is a 2-day convention in Japan where, fans attend like you would any other convention. And of course, there's going to be voice actors there from the series. A lot of different things kind of happen. They obviously have merchandise. People who attend can purchase, merchandise for the characters. And as well as the voice actors and actresses for these characters will be on stage, talk about the series. And then, of course, they do some live skits, kind of like they do on their live streams for the mobile games. They'll select, they don't select. They've already pre-practiced everything. But they have the voice actors essentially voice out a story that they've kind of pre-written. Now, this isn't super exciting for people here in the West because it doesn't seem like this year they're going to be live streaming it. In the last couple years, they have live streamed it because they couldn't have in-person Tales Fests. Simply because, obviously, with COVID-19, they wanted to be safe, so the easier way to do it was for them to sell online tickets, and then people could watch the live stream. As of right now, there has been no information on any kind of live stream ticket purchase, so it does seem like it's not going to be online this time, so anything that happens during Tales of Festival this year, most of us here in the West are going to have to wait until after, because they do have rules inside these conventions. People aren't allowed to use their phones during the conventions and stuff. So you're not going to hear any information until some of the people who attend the convention are done with each day, and then they start posting stuff on social media. Or if the official Tales accounts post anything, let's say a game got announced. I don't expect a game is going to get announced this year, but let's say the next mainline game got announced. Obviously, the main Twitters would drop a trailer. So, first thing to kind of go over here, these are all you already see this page in front of you while I've been talking. These are the characters for the first day. This is day 1, Saturday. So you've got Zelos, Shion, Cress, Mint, Lloyd, Vague, Claire, Luke, Caius, Rubia, Ruka, Iria, Kohaku, Hisui, Yuri, Rita, Saray, Lila, some characters I need to remember everyone's names. Velvet, Laffy, even though they're literally written right here. Velvet, I wasn't even paying attention to their names, but Velvet, Laphicet, Ix, Melina, Alphen, so that's day 1. And then day 2 is going to be Zelos again. Zelos, his voice actor, is usually the MC for these, and what an MC is kind of someone who officiates the event itself. So yeah, that's why he's on both days. And he even says, same thing with Lloyd's voice actor. Zelos, Lloyd, and Luke's are always the most prominent in these kind of streams and events and stuff. So they're always the ones that are here. That's why they're going to be on both days. So we've got Renwell, Leon, Philia, Riala, Loney, Lloyd, of course, Shirley, Chloe, Jay, Luke, Tyr, Raven, Sharia, Malik, Ludger, El, Gaius, Saray, Edna, Kanata, Mizella, and Dohalim. So very, very cool there. And then they also have some of the musical artists that have sang some of the openings. Obviously, you'll know Flo, probably most prominently within Tales for doing the Berseria opening. Dean has obviously done a lot with Tales. I believe Dean did, Abyss? And then, no. I'm getting that wrong. Which one did Dean do? Either way, someone will let me know down below. I forget exactly which one it was. And then Bonnie Pink, of course. I believe it was the Vesperia opening. And then, of course, there's going to be merchandise here for all of the characters. So pretty much every character you see here should at least get one piece of merchandise that people will be able to buy online. Obviously, if you live overseas, it's a bit harder to get this merchandise, but you can get some merchandise if you, usually you can find like a proxy or something to buy from, or if you have a friend who lives in Japan, who can get their hands on this merchandise, just obviously pay them and then have them pick it up for you. That's usually what I do. So that's the big stuff there for Tales of Festival. Now, what to actually expect with Tales Fest this year? I want to be hopeful that there is something that they have to announce. Obviously, we did have that trademark for Tales of Arise. What was it? It was like Beyond the Dawn or something. I still don't know if that's going to be like an anime, a DLC. I just, in terms of DLC, it feels way too late to do a DLC. Because let's say it is a DLC and they announce it this summer. It's most likely not coming out till the end of the year. So you're going to release your first DLC for the game. I mean, not really first, but like first kind of standalone DLC that's not collab stuff 2 years after the game came out. I don't know. That seems weird to me. So I don't think it's going to be a DLC. If anything, like just talking about the Beyond the Dawn stuff, the thing that would be the most likely to me would be if it's kind of like a Persona 5 Royal type thing, where it's a more complete version of the game. It has story elements and things in the game they weren't able to add initially, so it'll be in this version. So they'll re-release it. You'll have to rebuy the entire game. All the DLC from the original version will be included for free. It'll be like a deluxe edition of the game. And then, of course, it's going to have extra story bits that the original game didn't have. I'm obvious, spoilers, I assume, doesn't matter at this point. I would assume that most people watching my videos will have finished Arise almost 2 years after its release. But maybe it'll have more actual in-depth story on the other lords that we didn't get to see. Because obviously all we know about the lords, they were just NPCs in the Renan City. That were just basically explaining why people kind of revere them or whatever, or respect them. So maybe we get some actual cutscenes for their backstories as we're kind of going through them, but I don't know. So other than that, I mean, I guess it could be an anime. It could be like a short animation or maybe like an OVA that takes place after the game. Like maybe we see how Alphen and Xion actually get married, like how we see in the credits. I don't know. But beyond that, I don't know what to expect. I know some people said it could be a sequel, but I just don't see a point. Because obviously we have games that have direct sequels, like Destiny to Destiny 2, Xillia to Xillia 2, and of course Symphonia to Dawn of the New World. But in this case, it's kind of like the big threat of their entire kind of like universe was the Planet Eater thing. So I don't really know what, unless you just do like internal conflicts actually on the planet. I don't know how you make a full game for a sequel out of that. And then of course, I assume if they did do a sequel, it would be like the offspring of at least Alphen and Xion. It'd take place sometime in the future. It's like, oh, okay, you follow the events of the three pairings, kind of like kids type thing. But I don't know. So in terms of that, I could see that being talked about here at Tales of Festival, but something people need to understand is that Tales of Festival is not a news convention. Like, the point of Tales of Festival is not to give players news about what's coming out in the series. Obviously, they still do that, because obviously it generates more hype, but the point of the event is to celebrate the series, and for people who are going to kind of enjoy seeing their favorite voices on stage, acting out the characters kind of in person. So that's the main purpose of the event itself, is a celebration of the series, not necessarily to find out what's coming out next and when it's coming out. In terms of other stuff, obviously, we're now at a point in the Tales series where every mainline title is going to be an anniversary title. We're already in 2023 and there's been no announcement of the next mainline title, which of course, I don't want to say it's weird, but if you look at the previous decade of these games, usually 2 years after a game would come out, obviously Zestiria came out in 2015 as, that anniversary title. What was it? It was the 20th anniversary title. And then of course Berseria came out a year later. Berseria in Japan came out in 2016. And then, of course, we had a huge gap between 2016 to 2021 for Arise. But I think now, just with how demanding, graphics and everything are, we're probably just going to be getting games every 5 years, most likely. Maybe a little bit sooner, maybe not every 5, but it just feels like that's what it's leading up to. Because even if they do announce, let's say they do announce the next actual mainline title at Tales of Festival this year, they would announce it. It's going to be middle of 2023. It'll probably come out at the end of 2024, early 2025, something like that. So it would still come out around the 30th anniversary. But beyond that, obviously they say they want to do more ports and remasters and whatnot. Obviously, there's a ton of games I would love to see come out over here. First things first, I want a Destiny collection, because we don't have the PS2 version of Tales of Destiny. Obviously, you can play it, a fan-translated one, but we don't actually have it, we can't play it on our consoles in English. So I would love to have Destiny, and of course, Destiny 2 isn't over here in any capacity. And of course, Rebirth as well. Those are the ones I really want to see most, but I know a lot of kind of more... I don't like to single out fans, because I would normally say newer fans, but it's fans who don't like the older games. There's a lot of people Symphonia Remastered just came out a couple months ago, and there's a lot of newer fans who are just this game just kind of looks old. I don't really want to play it. They should have just remade it. So there are people who feel that way. So games like Rebirth and Destiny are not going to appeal to that audience. People just want to see the old games remade in the Arise graphics, and I totally respect that. I don't always feel that way, but I totally respect that people want to just play new stuff. But yeah, so I don't know what they're going to do. Obviously, I feel like if they want to appeal to popularity, I think Abyss is the next game to kind of work on. But I also have to put this out there. I know people are really kind of outcrying for Abyss, and they're like, oh, we got Symphonia again, we need Abyss now. And it's with the current issues that Symphonia has, I don't know if people would be happy with an Abyss release. Now, that can lead us into this over here. So, February 27th, Tales Series made a tweet. Thank you for playing Tales of Symphonia Remastered for Nintendo Switch. We are aware of certain gameplay inconveniences and are currently investigating the cause. We'll continue to work and keep you posted on updates while the team works towards resolutions. I don't know why I'm having so much trouble talking right now, but anyways, we apologize for the inconvenience and thank you for your patience. So that was February 27th. There's been no update. Obviously that tweet is down right here. They've posted about they were uploading the anime to their YouTube channel, the Symphonia anime, the 11-episode OVA. And then they had a survey that they posted April 5th, and there's been nothing since. So not a great look, because now the Symphonia Remastered has been out for 2 months and a week, and the Nintendo Switch version still has very hard to play bugs from what I am seeing people post. So if Abyss did come out, it could have these same issues. Since Abyss is made relatively in a similar kind of style that Symphonia is, they were both released within just a couple years of each other, there could still be a lot of issues with Abyss. So I don't know if people would want Abyss to be the next one that they do. But that's neither here nor there. So I don't really know what to expect. But the series has kind of been in this weird place right now since Arise came out. I think Arise was a solid game. I know there's a lot of people who comment on my videos who for whatever reason think I hated Arise, which I don't really get, because if I hated Arise, I wouldn't have finished it. I obviously enjoyed it enough. There are moments that even made me cry during my playthrough. But anyways, yeah, it was a fine game in its own right. Obviously, I had some issues with it, and stuff that I'm sure unanimously people agree with. For example, making money was ridiculous in that game. Anyways, I'm not going to get in a tangent about, my nitpicks with Arise. Obviously, it was a good game. It had some issues, just like every Tales game does. But now, since then, we had Crestoria shut down. Luminaria released and shut down. Asteria is now shutting down. Asteria, I don't really blame Bandai on, because it was made in a different time, and just those kinds of mobile games just do not sell right now. You know, obviously, most of what sold on that game was the artwork. The gameplay itself, like, you don't actually see characters do anything. So obviously, it was made in a much different time. Totally get why it's shutting down. You know, it made it almost to 9 years. That's very, very good. Of course, Tales of the Rays just started its new kind of like arc, if you want to call it that. And I don't see Tales of the Rays going anywhere anytime soon. But that's pretty much it. We've had 3 mobile games shut down. And, well, we've had 2 shut down, and 1 is about to shut down next month. And then we had a kind of lackluster remaster come out this year. And I say lackluster, I still enjoyed playing Symphonia. I had a lot of issues even on the PS4 version. I was obviously playing on my PS5, but it's the PS4 version. There were just a lot of issues that I ran into while playing the game. It doesn't seem as apparent like when you're watching my playthrough, but there was stuff I noticed that I just didn't talk about. But yeah, so I think there definitely could have been a lot more care put into this if it's a so-called remaster. Once again, having trouble talking. But it just, I don't know why this had to come out so soon. I think they could have taken a few extra months to kind of polish up this port. I'm not even going to call it a remaster. It's a port. And then I also don't understand why they just didn't make it a bundle pack with Dawn of the New World. There's literally no you could have just said this is Tales of Symphonia Chronicles remastered, release them both, boom, you get 2 games. Because now they have to worry about selling Dawn of the New World at some point, because they're not going to not re-release it. So it most likely is just going to be a digital release. Like at some point they're just going to release it on the PlayStation Store, Xbox Store, and Switch stores. And then you'll be able to buy it. You'd probably spend like $30, $40 for it, and there you go. But my whole point leading up to in this video is, where are we going next? You know, what's kind of going on with the series? Now, I'm not a doom and gloom person. I don't think the series is dying. I think far from it. I think there's some problems with the series that they're just not making the best decisions with. You know, they rushed out a mobile game that just did not have longevity in mind. Luminaria, I thought it was a very interesting concept. The characters were very nice, but the gacha system was horrible. It was not invented in a way that it was going to last. Honestly, Luminaria should have been like a side game, like a side Tales of the World-esque kind of game that they released on the Switch. You have 21 characters. Okay, you unlock them as you play through the game, and it should have just had its own story. And then Crestoria, of course, did not. I think Crestoria's issue was that the graphics were just too big for the kind of game it was trying to sell to be. So it wasn't making the money to kind of upkeep all that. So I think also as well, you could have done Crestoria as like a Tales of the World-esque game where you recruit other Tales characters as you're kind of going through the story, and it still revolves around the main 6. But beyond that, I think the series is at a point where we really need to see some, you know, fresh stuff happen. So even if the game doesn't come out for 2 years, I think it would be very smart for them at Tales of Festival to at least allude to whatever new game is being worked on right now, or just whatever is being worked on in general, because Symphonia Remaster did not hold people over as much as Bandai might think that it did. Like, yes, it was a nice release, but most people are totally fine just booting up their PC or booting up their PS3 and just playing the version that they have on there. Most people bought the new version just because of a collector's item, but most people are totally fine just playing their old versions because they actually run better. I think the only people who really benefited from this release are Xbox owners, because obviously Symphonia was never on Xbox. It's now on Xbox, so people who only own an Xbox and have only ever owned Xboxes, this is a brand new game for them that they've never gotten to play. You know, obviously on Xbox now you have Vesperia Definitive Edition. You can play on, you know, Xbox Series S/X. You have Tales of Arise, and now you have Tales of Symphonia. So Xbox now has 3 Tales games that they can play. So that's good for them. But other than that, that's pretty much all I've got right now. Long story short, I think it would be beneficial, even though Tales of Festival is not an event made for news. I do think they need to start talking about what's kind of being worked. They don't even have to give us a name or a trailer. Just say, hey, these are the projects we're working on. Look forward to it. Like, just to get people excited that there is being something worked on. Like, obviously, we know stuff is being worked on. We know once Tales of Arise was done, they started working on the next mainline title. That's why it takes 5 years for these to come out. But communication is key when it comes to keeping your fans happy. So I think that's what we need to see. But that's going to be it, guys. Hope you all enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think down below. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new to the channel. I'll see you all next time. Have a wonderful day, everyone.